100 roaring Harleys broke the silence of a small, peaceful town that morning, and every neighbor thought chaos had come. But what they didn't know was that those bikers weren't there to start trouble. They were there to save a child. Sarah Reynolds had already lost one hero, her husband, a soldier who died serving overseas. But now she was losing another, her 12-year-old son, Kevin. Kevin wasn't the same boy anymore. The kid who once filled the house with questions about dinosaurs and space had turned into a ghost. He barely spoke. He stopped eating right. He even quit his favorite thing, swimming. At first, Sarah thought it was just grief. But grief doesn't make a child scream at night or hide in his closet at 3 a.m. One morning, she finally asked, "Kevin, baby, what's wrong?" He looked up, pale and shaking. "It's nothing, Mom." But a mother always knows when something is wrong, and what she found next would make her blood run cold. Hidden in Kevin's phone were messages from his former swim coach. They started off as harmless. "Hey, champ, proud of you." Then they got darker. "I miss our practices. You remember our secret?" Sarah's hands trembled as she scrolled through the words no mother should ever read. The coach had been quietly fired months ago. No one told her why, but he still lived just 10 minutes away in a blue house on Maple Street. Whenever Kevin went out, that same man showed up. At the grocery store, the playground, even outside their home. Always watching, always smiling. Sarah went to the police, desperate, but the officer only sighed and said, "I'm sorry, ma'am." There's not enough evidence. That night at 2 a.m., when the world was asleep, Sarah sat alone on Facebook and typed, "Please, I need help for my son. The system failed him. I don't know where else to turn." She hit post and went to bed crying. The next morning, the sound of thunder rolled through their street. Only it wasn't thunder. It was the sound of motorcycles. At exactly 9:17 a.m., one Harley turned the corner, then another, then 10, then 50. Within minutes, her entire street was filled with leather, chrome, and the deep rumble of engines. Kevin ran to the window. "Mom, what's happening?" Sarah's heart pounded. Then the doorbell rang. She opened it to find a giant man with a silver beard, his vest covered in patches. "Mrs. Reynolds," he said calmly. "Name's Diesel. President of the North Valley." Chapter she stammered. How do you know who I am?" He smiled. "Your post traveled fast. We take care of kids around here. Someone needed help." We answered. Behind him stood nearly 100 bikers, men and women, all wearing the same emblem on their backs. Hell's Angels. Sarah's voice shook. "What do you want to do?" Diesel nodded toward Kevin. "We're here to show support. Everything we do will be legal, but no one's gonna mess with this boy again." He handed her a business card. David Kowalski, construction foreman. "This isn't about trouble," Diesel said. "It's about family." Then he looked down at Kevin. "Hey, champ. Nobody's gonna hurt you again. You got my word." For the first time in months, Kevin didn't hide behind his mom. A police car slowly rolled up. Sarah's stomach dropped. She thought they were in trouble. But the officer just nodded at Diesel, and Diesel nodded back. "Officer Chen knows why we're here," Diesel said quietly. "His daughter was in Kevin's swim class." That's when Sarah realized there were other victims, other parents too scared to speak up. Diesel turned back to the crowd. "We ride through town, past the school, past the pool, and past a certain house on Maple Street. No one needed to ask which house. Before leaving, a woman biker walked up holding a small package. Inside was a tiny black leather vest with a single patch that read, "Protected." Diesel smiled. "You're one of us now, kid." Honorary member Kevin's eyes lit up. "Can I ride too?" "If your mom says yes," Diesel grinned. Sarah hesitated, then nodded. Go ahead." Moments later, the engines fired up again. The sound shook the town. Over 100 bikers rolled down Main Street, Kevin riding in a sidecar, proudly wearing his new vest. People came out of their homes. Teachers stopped mid-class. Police cleared intersections. Even the judge from the courthouse stepped outside, hand on heart, nodding silently. And yes, when they passed the blue house on Maple Street, every engine revved louder. The message was clear. This boy is protected now. The parade ended at a park where the bikers had organized a huge cookout. Kids from school came. Parents came. Everyone who had been too scared before now saw the truth. These weren't outlaws. They were guardians. Sarah watched her son laughing again, surrounded by bikers who treated him like family. Diesel walked up beside her, arms crossed. "Why would you do this?" she asked. "You don't even know us." Diesel looked toward Kevin. "Because some of us know what it's like to be a scared kid, with nobody to stand up for you." He told her about his sister, a talented swimmer who'd once been hurt by her coach. "The school said they'd look into it," Diesel said quietly. "They never did." Sarah felt tears fill her eyes. Diesel smiled faintly. "Your husband served in Afghanistan, right?" She nodded. "How do you know that?" "Half our chapter are vets," he said. "Your husband would have protected his boy if he were here." So today we stood in his place. 3 weeks later, the police raided the blue house on Maple Street. They found enough evidence to arrest the coach. This time, justice didn't fail. When the court sentenced him, a line of motorcycles waited quietly outside. Kevin ran to Diesel and hugged him tight. For the first time, Diesel's tough face softened. "Told you nobody hurts you again, kid." Sarah finally understood something that day. The scariest-looking people sometimes have the biggest hearts. When her son needed saving, heroes came wearing leather and riding Harleys. Because sometimes, help doesn't come from where you expect. Sometimes, it comes with the sound of thunder. If this story touched your heart, remember, never judge a book by its cover. Real strength is standing up for someone who can't fight alone. Subscribe to Bikers Bite 2.0 for more real biker stories and brotherhood moments every week. Bonus tip for bikers: always keep your eyes open for someone who needs help, because sometimes the loudest engines carry the kindest souls.